Jessie woo, VVS. I just turn the water on. Big old flex. You never saw before. He's chasing me like waterfall. What's up, guys? It's your sister. Welcome back to another episode of Just a Couple Things, y'all. Your new favorite podcast hosted by your sister, me, Jessie Woo. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode. Make sure that you are listening to me on audio. It is muy importante that you are listening to me on audio. Make sure that you follow me on every, hold on, y'all. I wear diapers now, and my diaper kind of, I haven't worn diapers in a while. It's been a long time. I haven't worn diapers since I was a baby. So, I'm trying to get readjusted. But yeah, y'all, make sure that you're following me on every podcast that streams platform. So Spotify, you got to click follow. All right. It should be a little art somewhere on the screen that shows you that. Okay, Jonathan, make sure you got the art for the people. So Spotify, follow. For the Apple people, iTunes podcast, hit follow. Everywhere else, we just gonna make sure you know how to hit follow for Just a Couple Things podcast hosted by your sister, Jessie Woo. Amen. I hope that you guys are doing great. First and foremost, I cannot start this podcast by not acknowledging what is happening in California with these fires. Like, I don't know. It's like watching these fires and reaching out to friends that I have out there. It's just kind of crazy. Like, there's really nothing you can actually do other than, like, if you're going to donate money, which these survivors are in dire need of, do so. Send whatever clothing, whatever material that you can send. But it's like, these fires are still burning, and it's just like, I don't know. It was crazy watching Atlanta have a snow day while LA is just burning. It's really just, I don't know what to think, other than to send out my prayers to all of you guys. One of my really good friends, Etienne, hold on. I'm going to make sure that I put this on screen so you guys can see it. But Etienne has a foundation that is focused on helping neighborhoods, people that have lost their homes, and helping out the neighborhoods that have, lost their homes, lost things, and are in dire need. He has a company called Walk Good LA, and I'm going to make sure that I put up the information so you guys can see. Also that you guys make sure that you follow Etienne Maurice. If you guys like Abbott Elementary, or if you're like me and you're a big fan of Sister Act 2, singing does not pay the bills. Singing will not put food on the table. His mother is the one and only, my favorite Jamaican, Shirley Ralph. And they've been on the ground doing a lot of work. So I'm going to make sure that you guys have both of these Instagrams for you guys to follow. And they are definitely making sure that they are helping neighbors, people who are of the Altadena area. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But it's just so much going on in the world. Today, Michelle Obama announced that she will not be attending Trump's inauguration, period. That's my Michelle. That's my Michelle, the same Michelle Obama that did not attend Jimmy Carter's funeral last week because she didn't want to be passing out strawberry church candies to President Bush, period. She said, I ain't got no more candy for y'all. I don't got it. You had Kamala come in and act like she ain't even see nobody that had a last name that started with T, period. That's the energy that we are moving forward with this year, okay? The 92%ers, y'all know who y'all are. That's the energy that we are on, period. MLK is MLK. Okay, next Monday, we are celebrating Martin Luther King. We not celebrating nothing else, period. All right, so before we get into all the Just a Couple Things topics, y'all, I want to bring back what the did I just watch? What the did I just watch? So watched a documentary over the weekend titled The Curious Case of Natalia Grace. Apparently, I'm late to this documentary. It has 3 seasons. The first season debuted in 2023. It is now on its 3rd season. My jaw was dropped the entire first season of this documentary. Let me try to sum up what this documentary is about. The Curious Case of Natalia Grace. Imagine that you and your spouse are 15 years deep into your marriage. You all have, I believe, 3 children. They're all boys. You all are doing well. Your oldest child is a genius, so much so that your oldest child has his own TED Talk where he discusses a form of science that I'm not even going to try to pronounce because the word has about 32 syllables within it. And baby, that's just not my ministry, all right? But you've got a teenage genius, okay? Y'all are doing very well. Y'all are well-to-do. Y'all have a mini mansion. You have multiple cars in the driveway, including a Lamborghini. Life is good. And you decide that there is space for another child here. So you try to adopt. And your first attempt at adopting, mind you, this is 2010, you are trying to adopt a child out of Haiti, but unfortunately an earthquake hits Haiti and you're not able to follow through with the adoption of the child that you found. So one day, out of nowhere, you get a phone call from an adoption agency in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, telling you that, hey, we're very familiar with you and your work. We're very familiar with your nonprofit where you all are helping children and yada, yada, yada. We have the perfect child for you to adopt. We know that you have 3 sons and are in the market for a girl. So we have the perfect girl for you to adopt. The only thing is, the only trouble is you have 24 hours to adopt her. If you do not adopt this child within 24 hours, she will go into foster care. You leave Indiana, you take a flight to I will vote for Donald Trump land. Okay, you go down to Fort Lauderdale, South Florida. Vote for Donald Trump. Now you are in vote for Donald Trump land. And you looking for your baby girl. You show up to the adoption agency, and upon arriving, you see that the baby girl that you're about to adopt has actually been returned by a previous family. But in your mind, you take having 24 hours to adopt this child and seeing another family return her to the adoption agency as a sign from God that this is your daughter. Hey, so the girl comes out. She's 6 years old. She is an immigrant from Ukraine. She's running up to you and your wife. Mommy, daddy. You take her home. She's 6 years old. She fits right on in because you have another child that's 6-year-old as well. Within a week of adopting this child, you all decide to take a trip to every child's favorite place, Disney World. First night in, you decide you're going to help your baby girl take a bath. Okay, you're getting everybody ready for sleep. Everybody is bedtime, so it's bed bath time, right? Okay, cool. Your wife is upstairs about to bathe your new 6-year-old daughter. You hear a scream. Ah! Come up here. I need you to come up here immediately. You run upstairs. Your wife says, look, you looking. Look, you looking. She says, look harder. Look low. You look low. Lo and behold, behold and lo, your 6-year-old adopted daughter that you just got a couple days ago, it's a jungle down there. I'm talking about it's a jungle down there. I'm talking about Lion King. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. I'm talking about it's bushes. It's bushes. It's giving wee, way, full bush. She's 6 years old. Why does she have a grown lady bush? You're puzzled. Your wife is startled. Y'all pack everything up. You head back home. You got questions. You got questions because usually a 6-year-old ain't finna have a big old bush that hyenas and the whole Pride Rock is just running through, right? Okay. Within a week's time, you call the adoption agency. They're like, hey, you Googling, Google's telling you, well, usually, puberty and bushes start hitting girls around 8 to 13. The adoption agency's like, hey, maybe she just, developed early. All right, cool. Another 2 weeks passes by. You're in your daughter's room, cleaning up the room or whatnot. You go to clean up under the bed. You find bloody socks up under the bed. Bloody socks up under the bed. You ask your new daughter, hey, what's going on? What's going on? Why do you have makeshift tampons up under your bed? Your new 6-year-old daughter tells you she has her period and she's been hiding it. You call the adoptive agency. Hello? Hold on. Parce que this is not a 6-year-old. There's no way. The bush was one thing. Now it's makeshift tampons up under my new daughter's bed. Who is this? She's not 6 years old. The adoptive agency is like, no picky pani. Remember, you went down to donatron. No picky pani. No can help you, mommy. I'm sorry, mommy. No help you. Si, no, yo no puede. Mbakapap, sorry for you. So you calling around to figure out, okay, what is going on? Who is this person? And the gag is, I didn't even tell y'all this part. This 6-year-old that you adopted is a little person. Okay? So within the first 2 to 3 weeks, you found her bush. She got her period. By the 3rd week, you find out, she needs surgery on her feet because she has a particular condition that comes with several, not many, but about 3,400 people have the condition that she has. So now you're stuck with a bill that you didn't know you were going to have to foot. While looking for the doctors who specialize in the surgery that your new daughter needs, they pair you up with another child who is 5 years old, who has the exact same disease. They pair you up for a play date. That child comes in. That little person child comes in. Your new adoptive daughter looks way older than that child. has a bigger body, has a bigger build, has a bigger face. And as your new 6-year-old daughter with a bush and a period realizes that you're coming to realize, wait a minute, there's no way that you're 6 years old, she puffing up her face to make her face look younger in comparison to this other child. Mind you, remember I said, your adoptive daughter is a Ukrainian immigrant. Lo and behold and lo, you realize, she ain't got no accent. She ain't got the Ukrainian accent. But you say to yourself, you know what? Because she's, maybe she was here for a minute or who knows, but they told you she's fresh out of Ukraine. You go down to your local YMCA, it's a Ukrainian there in one of the programs they got down there. You take your daughter around there to have her be around people that's like her from Ukraine. The Ukrainian lady get to speak in Ukrainian. Your daughter no comprende. Your daughter no comprende. I sorry, no comprende. No pique Ukraine. No pique Ukraine. Who the fuck did you just adopt? What do you do? What you doing? What you doing? What do you do? What do you do? What you doing? So now, the adoptive agency ain't helping you. Authorities really ain't helping you because you calling the police, you calling whoever you can call, and they're like, hey, well, you know what? Just take her to the doctor. You take her to the doctor basically sums up that she wasn't aged correctly. But legally, she's your child. You're responsible for her. So now, this girl knows the jig is up. She starts doing things like when y'all get in the car to go on a family trip, she goes to her seat. She poops on herself. She takes her hand. She puts it in the poop. Lapsime kaka supititu. She's taking the poop. She rubbing the poop on your other children. When y'all at home, she's peeing in her bed. She peeing in the kitchen. She peeing everywhere but in the toilet. There once comes one night where you wake up in the middle of the night, you notice that your new adoptive daughter is at the foot of your bed with a knife. And she's telling you she gonna kill you. This happens all within a month. What you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Well, this documentary is about what this family does. And the roller coaster it takes you on is insane because basically, upon re-aging this 6-year-old, they're able to re-age her to 22. Okay? They're able to re-age her to her 20s. And from 16 to 22, there's a series of times when you get her to live on her own. You get her an apartment for her to stay. The apartment before the last apartment that she lives at, her neighbors are terrorized by her. You have one neighbor that complains about her touching his son inappropriately. You have a neighbor that complains about her, well, several neighbors complain about her entering into their homes without their consent. You have she has a stint where she is in a mental facility for a moment where they're evaluating, her mental health. And you have the mental facility staff detailing how she kept propositioning the other people who were there to be evaluated in the mental hospital. She kept propositioning them things about, licking their lollipop. She was propositioning lollipop licking. Okay? And carrying that same behavior onto these other kids in this neighborhood that she lives at. So they don't renew her lease. She has to move to another city. So her parents get her an apartment. Her last apartment that she's in, basically, she's found to have been neglected. So now these parents have to go to court. They are charged, they are arrested, they have to go to trial for child neglect, for a child who's not even truly a child, for a child that they can't even prove is an actual child. I'm talking about investigators got to go down to Ukraine. They find this lady who actually says that the girl was really a girl, but there's no real proof. It's an insane documentary. It is called The Curious Case of Natalia Grace. It is on HBO Max. I have never in my life watched what I just watched. Never in my life. If you like documentaries, this is by far the most jaw-dropping documentary I have ever watched. Please watch it. That ends my what the fuck did I just watch? Sit. Let's move on. All right. So we know that the LA fires are happening. And again, it's insane what's going on. So in the midst of all these fires happening, you have Khloe Kardashian, who instead of hiring private firefighters like her and her family usually do for their own homes, instead of hiring private firefighters to help fight these fires that are basically exterminating neighborhoods, she takes to her Instagram to call LA mayor, who's not even her mayor, LA mayor Karen Bass, a joke. Mind you, this is Khloe Kardashian, who is part of Tristan Thompson's harem of baby mamas. Khloe never misses an opportunity. As a matter of fact, the Kardashians never miss an opportunity to publicly disrespect a Black woman. Oh my gosh. Remember how Khloe blamed Jordan Woods for Tristan not being able to keep his Jamaican dick in his patty? Okay? One thing about Khloe Kardashian and her family, they will never miss an opportunity to blame a Black woman. And keep in mind, right? She calls her a joke. Meanwhile, you are the biggest joke. You're literally the biggest joke, okay? But she calls her a joke, and she talks about, the budget that was slashed. So the LA budget for fighting fires was $837 million, right? There was $17 million cut from that budget. And everybody is using that as you're a joke. Oh, look at what you did. It's all your fault. Everybody's using $17 million being slashed from $837 million. So that means there was still a budget of $827 million to fight these fires. Y'all really think that $17 million made a difference? Do y'all not see what's happening out there? Not only do you have these fires, but you have people who are allegedly starting these fires as well. And the way you have Khloe Kardashian so ready to call this Black woman, Karen Bass, a joke, the same way she was so ready to blame Jordan Woods for the fact that the leader of her harem of baby mamas packed, Tristan Thompson, couldn't keep his fucking Jamaican dick in his pants. The way she was so thirsty to disrespect this black woman, yet the entire Kardashian clan was so silent during this past election. You want to talk about jokes? The things that J.D. Vance said, the things that Elon Musty has done, the things that Elon Musty has done. Y'all have never spoken out about that. And of course you wouldn't. You're in bed with him. Every 5 minutes you have Kimmy hanging with a Tesla robot. You have Khloe coming out with a X podcast exclusively for Elon Musty. Like the anti-blackness be jumping out so hard. Like, Khloe, you are definitely Orenthal's daughter. You are anti-black, just like your strong-jawed daddy, Orenthal. You your daddy's son. Yeah. You your daddy's son for real. It's just so disrespectful. Meanwhile, these people have been known to have private firefighters. Send them out. Send them out. Get us some of your private firefighters. Y'all are billionaires. Pay up or shut up, period. All right, what's next? Oh my God, so much has happened too since my last podcast episode. Trump became the first president to be sentenced as a felon. And he will not receive any jail time. So he was sentenced to nothing. You can't even get a job at McDonald's if you're a felon. This man is about to be inaugurated next week. I'm so happy that Michelle Obama said hell to the no. Hell no to the no, no, no. Hell to the no. That's my Michelle. Michelle said, I ain't going. I'm not going. I'm not going. I'm a 92%er. I'm not going. Thank you. Thank you very much. Moving along, you got Mark Zuckerberg. Did y'all see what the fuck going on with Mark Zuckerberg? Mark Zuckerberg has restored free speech just ahead of our new felon in, what you call it? The new felon in chief, basically. He has restored free speech where he's basically going to be getting rid of fact checkers. He's going to be encouraging more misinformation to be spread. He had this to say about it. Let me see if I can pull the clip. Hold on.
So we're going to get back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms.
Isn't it ironic that the fact checking all started because of Trump and his administration that was spreading so much lies, even going into the pandemic, just the lies that were spread about COVID and how to deal with it. You know, you even had this motherfucker get on national television. We watch Trump and his wig tell people to drink bleach to get rid of COVID. So it's not a coincidence that Mark Zuckerberg is doing this right ahead of Trump returning to the White House. He's literally letting us know. To be honest, all of these billionaires are letting us know where they stand. They're letting us know where they stand, and it's very, very scary times because now we're going to go through. I mean, do y'all remember what it was like under the Trump administration? Like the constant... It's ridiculous. And then you have Mark Zuckerberg, who also said that Biden bullied him. I want y'all to hear this. This is so insane to me.
The emails are published. It's all kind of out there. And they're like, and basically it just got to this point where we were like, no, we're not gonna take down things that are true. That's ridiculous.
And he's putting it so lightly, like they were not asking you about no damn memes. They were talking about misinformation. Misinformation. that has been proven to be misinformation. We're really gonna go, like, if you thought we experienced fake news back during Trump's first administration, oh, buckle up, bitch. Buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Speaking of bumpy rides, let's talk about Twitch. What the fuck is happening? Like, this is insane. Drop in the comments if you're leaving me a review. Mind you, if you're leaving me a review, make sure it's 5 stars. I'm a 5-star bitch still. 2025, I'm still a 5-star bitch. Leave me a 5-star review now. But let me know if you've been paying attention to Steven Twitch boss, his wife, and what's been going on with her. You had his wife, Allison Holker, last week. This bombshell People magazine feature drops, and it's her revealing Twitch's deepest secrets on the horizons that she has a new memoir coming out. And I see the internet like going up in flames, but I'm like, what is going on? I don't really understand what the fuck is going on. So I sit down and watch the interview. Nobody asked for this. Nobody. Allison Holker. My husband was a crackhead. Nobody. Allison Holker. I went through my husband's journals and found out that he had a cornucopia of mushroom pills. Nobody. Allison. My husband is a pill-popping animal when he was alive. Nobody. Allison Holker. My husband was raped by a man when he was a child. And I never knew that. We was together for 10 years and I never knew that. But I found out by reading his journals when he died. And now I'm gonna read his journals for y'all in my new book. If you want to know the tea, buy my book. What? So the internet goes up in flames, right? Because she basically let us know that Twitch was a crackhead drug addict. Okay? Mind you, what really makes this so ugly is that Twitch deleted himself, okay? This man decided that he no longer wanted to live in this world. And I just want to take y'all back to 2022. This is like right post the pandemic, right? And Twitch was the DJ, and I believe he was one of the producers for the Ellen DeGeneres show. Do y'all remember what was happening around that time with Ellen and her show? Do y'all remember all the things that were coming to light? God only knows what this man was struggling with, right? To the point where he wanted to delete himself. And here's the thing, respectfully, Allison, I know an unsolved mystery when I see it. And the more this man's family comes forward, first of all, the People magazine feature, disgusting. The book, disgusting. But when you have family members speaking out, and we find out that you forced his family members to sign an NDA to attend his funeral. I'm talking about this lady forced Twitch's mother. His mother could not attend his funeral if his mother did not agree to not talk about him publicly, not do any interviews, not publish anything about her own son. And if she were to ever do that, all of the proceeds would go directly to Allison's pocket. This is per the NDA. That is his mother. You got Twitch's, I think his best friend came out and exposed a phone call. Let me see if I can find it.
You actually think that it is cool to make his mama sign an NDA to see his body?
Yeah, I do.
Oh my God.
I would do it again. I would do it again every single day for the rest of my life if I needed to.
In the recording, she says that Steven before had requested his mother to sign an NDA, and his friend is saying he asked her to sign an NDA for a party. She had to sign an NDA for a party that they attended. That's not the same thing. This woman forced Twitch's mother to sign an NDA before she could even see her child's body. Like, I really want y'all to understand the pure satanic energy that is Allison Holker. Nobody asked you for this. Nobody asked you for this. And again, to find out that not only did she force his family members, including his own mother, to sign NDAs and told them that if they ever talked about him publicly and ever earned any money from that they would have to give her that money. But also his family members have not even seen his children since then. In the same recording, the same live that his brother did, his brother talked about, I think this is his friend, I'm sorry, or his cousin, I believe, someone that he's really close to. He exposed that at Twitch's funeral, he said the funeral gave 1921. Whites on this side, blacks on another side. This was the funeral that they had to sign an NDA for. Not only did Twitch's mother, family members, loved ones have to sign an NDA to attend, they had to sit in a segregation fume. They had to sit in segregation. They had to experience Jim Crow down to Twitch's fume. I'm going to go ahead and say something. I don't care. This is my opinion. I cannot scientifically prove this. I think that Allison Holker deleted Twitch, period. I think that it's foul. It's not giving self-deletion. It's giving unsolved mysteries. I see snapped. I know a snapped episode when I see it. I know a snapped episode when I see it. It's giving, she deleted that man so that she could make money off that man. I don't know what was going on in his career post the Ellen DeGeneres show debacle. I don't know what was happening. But think about it this way, right? Because then she released a statement talking about how, I did this book. I wrote this book because I know that my husband would want to share his story to help others. Your husband didn't even share his story with you. You had to find his story in a shoebox. He didn't even trust you with his story. So what the fuck are we even talking about? All right. I hope his family sues that lady for everything that she's worth. I hope that his family I hope his mama gets everything. But also, I have to echo some points that I've seen made by other people. This is the woman that Twitch chose. And a lot of times, when it's a black woman in this predicament, it's, but she should have chose better. Twitch should have chose better. And I hate to say that because obviously the brother's not here to speak for himself, but this is the woman that he chose. He chose her. He chose her. But the more I hear about these details, the more I'm like, I think she deleted that man. I think that she deleted that man. Allegedly. Alleged. This is all alleged. But I think she allegedly deleted that man. Let's move on. Speaking of allegedly, let's get into Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. I just want to make it clear first and foremost that I do not care about neither of these people, okay? I do not care about Blake Plantation Barbie Lively, and I do not give a damn about Justin Baldoni, okay? Just want to make that clear. I don't have a dog in this fight, all right? But I will say this. Y'all will never make me like her. And the only reason that I need to not like Blake Plantation, Barbie, Lolly is the fact that she got married on a plantation. Welcome to my TED Talk. Snacks are in the back. Welcome. Okay? I don't need nothing else. As a black woman, I don't need nothing else. Okay? I have seen a lot of the is she a mean girl discourse online. And to be honest, I really don't care for the whole mean girl things. I think that a lot of times when y'all call people mean, I don't feel that they're being mean all the time. I think sometimes people might not have good social cues. I think sometimes people might be awkward. I've experienced like 2 or 3 people being mean to me in the industry. Like, for instance, Tiffany Haddish was very mean to me. This was back at Essence 2023. Very mean to me. I was hosting the Essence main stage during Essence Festival. She was about to come on the stage, and I literally, as guests would come on the stage that I was hosting, you know, I would go introduce myself, you know, prepare them in any way. The team would be there to do that as well. I just walked up to her to say, hey, before I could even, I'm talking to somebody right now. You don't see I'm talking to my producer? I walked off. So as she's coming to the stage, she realizes that, oh, she's working. She works here, right? And so she says to me, oh, my bad. I was just trying to talk to my producer about what we about to do. I was just trying to get guidance from my producer. And I said to her, that is exactly why I was trying to talk to you. Mind you, her producer, she was about to do a panel. Lakeith Stanfield. First of all, Lakeith Stanfield was on the panel too. Girl, trust me, I was not trying to rush you. If I was going to rush anybody, it was going to be Lakeith, okay? It wasn't going to be you, all right? And mind you, too, keep in mind, this is fresh off those allegations. Well, really, that weren't really allegations because we all saw the videos of Tiffany Haddish with those children, those minor children, in those questionable skits, right? But she was just really just doing too much. And when she realized that another thing too, right? Just to give you guys a better context, when you're at Essence Fest, there's certain points where it's very, very clear that everybody in the vicinity is working. So when you're backstage about to go on a panel, it's very clear. Everybody got walkie-talkies on. People are getting mic'd or people are being handed mics. It's very clear. So it didn't give that anything else was going down or any weird shit was happening. I was literally just going to go introduce myself and let her know, whatever. Anyway. So I thought that was a very mean moment, but I let it go. But then when she got on stage, she did another thing that was very mean. And a friend of mine who was in the crowd captured it on camera. And I thought I was crazy until when I got off stage, my friend was like, girl, what the fuck was wrong with that lady? Like, she was saying something under her breath. I think she was saying something like, she ready, or something like that. And, I'm on stage. We're taking pictures. The crowd is like, it's kind of like one of those dead moments where it's something happening on stage, but the crowd is standing there. Nobody's talking to the crowd. So I'm kind of like joking around with the crowd. I'm like, hey, I wish I could hear Tiffany. She's so funny. She just said under her breath something like, this is what money look like, or this is what success looks like, or something like that. And she gets on her mic. She's like, no, that's not what I said. What I said was, so she was being mean. That's being mean, right? It just was like, okay, bitch, are you on crack? Is it crack? That's being mean to someone, right? But you interviewing Blake Lively and you make a comment about her bump and she says, well, how's your bump? I don't think that's mean. Me personally, I don't think that's mean. It might be a little snappy. She might feel a way about you asking her about her body. I don't think that that's her being mean to you. And a lot of times when I've seen her interviews, I just think that she is someone she lacks social cues. I think she's awkward. I think that she doesn't know how to read a room. I also think that she comes off entitled too, but if I were Blake Plantation Barbie Liley, I'd be entitled as well, maybe because she has parents who have a lot of money. She grew up having a whole lot of money to the point where her parents, I believe, are also in the industry, and this girl didn't really have to audition for roles. She went into the audition room knowing that her daddy paid for her to have the role. Like, that's how she was brought up. And then now you're married to Mr. Deadpool. So the entitlement kind of comes with that territory. So, but still, I don't feel that being a mean girl is accurate all the time. And also, I don't think that being a mean girl makes it okay for you to be harassed sexually at work. I just want to make that quite clear. I think that a lot of times too, because people don't like you, when they see you experience certain things where they would be like, oh my God, this is wrong. You know, rape is wrong. But if they don't like you, well, she got raped. I mean, I don't like her. I've seen people do that. It's quite disgusting, right? So when I saw the allegations come up, I was like, okay, then that's fucked up. That's really fucked up. I just minded my black women business because this lady is Plantation Barbie, so I did not care, okay? But it's still messed up. If what she's alleging really happened, it's messed up. But then when you start to look at the receipts, first and foremost, before I even go into the receipts too, This Ends With Us was a horrible movie. I literally watched the movie the day before the New York Times dropped her complaint simultaneously as her complaint dropped, which is so ironic because she's alleging that Justin Baldoni spearheaded a smear campaign, but here you are dropping a private complaint at the same time as this New York Times story. You know that Spider-Man meme? That's what it's giving. But anyway, I watched the movie right before the complaint dropped. The movie is horrible. The movie is fucking horrible. It is a movie that literally romanticizes DV and SA. The acting was horrible, especially on Plantation Barbie's part. That lady is not a good actress. She's not a good actress, okay? It's not giving actress. It's giving, I don't know what the fuck that was. It's giving she got on there and she did what the fuck she wanted to do on them people's set. The wardrobe, what the hell was going on? Like, I just remember watching it thinking, what the hell? And then I remember thinking, because I'm watching this in December, so this is like months after the movie dropped, and I remember the whole grab your friends and wear your florals. Why are you telling me to wear my florals to watch you get raped? It's giving tone deaf, okay? So yeah. I just remember thinking this movie's horrible, and then literally I threaded about it, and then boom, the complaint hit. I just want to say, if that's the movie at the center of all this, baby, it is so not worth it. Because that movie's horrible, okay? But let's go down to the complaint, okay? First and foremost, in her complaint and in the New York Times article, which, by the way, Justin Baldoni now is suing the New York Times for $250 million, I believe. And also he plans on suing the breaks off of Plantation Barbie, as he should, because if what I'm looking at is correct, yeah. Mind you, this man was dropped by WME immediately. They were both on WME, which tells me too, so y'all were both under the same agency and all this shit was going on. What was the agency doing? What were y'all teams doing? Anyway, in her complaint, she said that her first things first, she says they spearheaded a smear campaign against her, right? So she says that Justin Baldoni's team planted stories about her, okay, to ruin her reputation publicly, right? Blake saw all of the TikToks, the threads, the tweets, the YouTube videos of people putting together a montage of her interviews for This Ends With Us. And the whole grab your girls, wear your florals was such a miss that it basically snowballed. And the internet just came to agreement and said, we don't fuck with Plantation Barbie. Okay? But she is accused, she's blaming Justin Baldoni for this. I'm going to play y'all the clip, which is insane.
It Ends With Us is in theaters now, so grab your friends, wear your florals, and head out to see it.
Again, y'all, this movie's about DV and SA. Grab your friends, wear your florals. And her whole thing is that she sees that the internet did not like this, and her thing in her complaint is that Sony and Wayfair told her in their marketing plan to keep interviews lighthearted, okay? Mind you, Wayfair is Justin Baldoni's company. Justin Baldoni got the rights to This Ends With Us, which is a Colin Hoover book. Colin Hoover is sitting there with her. He got the rights to the book. He made the movie through his production company under Sony, okay? So she's saying that Sony's marketing team came up with this whole, have a lighthearted approach in these interviews. Now, here's my thing, right? I just don't buy that. Even if that was Sony's approach, right? This is Blake Lively we're talking about. Again, rich parents who have a lot of influence in Hollywood. You're married to Ryan Reynolds. You are on WME, the same team that Justin Baldoni is under. So you mean to tell me your team watched Justin Baldoni focus on DV victims, focus on SA victims, focus on, hey, proceeds of the movie are going to these organizations. They watch this happen. Meanwhile, you're in your interviews talking about wear your floors, grab your girls, make it a girls' night, wear your floors to come see me get SA. Your team saw that and they didn't intervene. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. I'm just simply not buying that. Then further in her complaint with the New York Times, she provides this screenshot where she accuses Justin Baldoni's team of planting a story of her, right? Now, in the screenshot provided in her complaint and also provided to the New York Times, the screenshot isn't an actual screenshot of like that you have like from your phone, right? It kind of gives your text messages like in transcript form. So she's able to give them a very specific section of a text exchange between this team, right? So when you look at the text exchange, you see that there is a screenshot that's put in the chat or in the text message thread between these two people. First thing that comes up, could Blake Lively be canceled? So this is like an article. And Jen Abel says, wow, you really outdid yourself with this piece. And there's an emoji, and I'm going to put the screenshot up so you guys can see, but the emoji is like, right? And the response is, that's why you hired me, right? I'm the best. Heading to the airport, and there is a drive through the jungle that there's going to be no reception for around 24 hours. Joke, 45 minutes. Jen Abel then says, I'm sorry, you bring offline for 45 minutes was not included in the scope. Unacceptable, right? So when you're looking at the rest of the text message thread, you kind of basically can deduce that this is these people's first time seeing this, because they don't even talk about it anymore. They don't even say, so what's it doing? What's the story doing? You're basically, if you look at it, especially the parts that Blake did not provide to the New York Times, you can deduce that these people are just seeing this shit for the first time. They're like, yo, what the fuck, right? They're being sarcastic. But then furthermore, in her complaint, she's accusing these people of planting this story but she doesn't provide any proof that they actually planted the story. So the writer of the story doesn't come forward and say it was planted to them. None of these YouTubers, TikTokers, none of them say we were paid or we were put up to this. She never provides any proof of that. It's just an accusation. And to me, if you're not showing the full thread, then you're not going to get the full context. Also, in her complaint, Blake details, right, how Sony told her to keep it light in the interviews, right? But in the same complaint and now lawsuit, she details how she was able to take over editing of the film. Keep in mind, she wasn't a producer of the film. It wasn't her film to produce. It wasn't her production company, right? She details how she was able to edit the film, have her own version of the film. So you mean to tell me that someone who was able to edit the film, have their own version versus Justin's version, just sat back and just said, wear your florals because they were told to do that? As if she just had no say-so in what she would say in these interviews. Her team had no say-so. In Justin Baldoni's lawsuit, he provides receipts of her not only being able to take over the editing, but also being able to kick him out of the editing bay. There's this text exchange between him and Jen Abel where he says, she kicked me out officially from the film now. She's finishing it all. I can't be involved. Music, sound, VFX, everything. So again, you mean to tell me that a woman who was able to take over a film where she's now doing the editing, also in his lawsuit, he details how she made an entire other version of the movie by hiring Ryan Reynolds editors. So you had the Justin Baldoni version of the movie, you had the Blake Lively version of the movie, right? Sony tested both versions of the movie before the movie came out. Guess which version did better? Take a wild guess. Justin's version did better. He's able to prove that not only did Sony take over her version, but the reason for it was because she threatened that if her version wasn't picked, that she wasn't even going to promote the movie. So again, I have to ask you again. This woman who is blaming Justin Baldoni for the public not liking her and ruining her reputation because she said, grab your friends, wear your florals. But that was what Sony wanted. You mean to tell me this woman had no autonomy in what she could say in her interviews? It's all Justin's fault? I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. Sorry. Not buying that. Then you have Justin Baldoni releasing a voice note. Oh, and by the way, before we even get into the voice note, Justin's lawyer did the Megyn Kelly show recently, and he revealed that Blake Lively never read the book. She never read the book. And when I heard him say that, I said, oh my God, that would make sense for why she's so tone deaf in her interviews. She never read the book. She did not get the tone of the film. Mind you, this is a woman who filmed these scenes and still didn't get it and still was tone deaf. You mean to tell me you filmed this movie where you get essayed and you sat there in interviews and you made light about it. You promoted your new hair care company. You promoted your new alcohol company while you're on the press run for a movie about SA and DV. That's all Justin Baldoni's fault? Let's listen to Justin's voice note, child. This is crazy.
Could have been one of the most beautiful nights of my life career-wise. I literally was sent to the basement with all my friends and family for over an hour. I wasn't allowed to be seen. She didn't want me anywhere near her or the rest of the cast.
And mind you, receipts were proven that this voice note was sent. Actually, it was a voicemail. This was sent after one of the first couple of premieres. Okay? If you notice, on the red carpet, the premieres for this movie, Justin Baldoni was always by himself. None of the cast members, Colleen Hoover, Plantation Barbie, nobody stood with this man. And a lot of people, after she gave her accusations, they're like, and we see why. We see why. We see why. Well, keep in mind, if this woman told her cast members all the things that we're discussing and about to discuss, of course they didn't want to be seen with this man on red carpets. Because we're going to go into how she talked about him harassing her sexually, right? So of course they wouldn't want to be seen with this man. But again, listening to that voice note and also being able to see the receipts of these premieres, Blake Plantation Barbie Liley was able to hijack this man's premieres, have her own premieres, and have him go do a premiere in the basement. Nobody puts baby in the basement. What was that movie? I had the time of my life. That's my mama movie. What's that movie? What's the name of that movie? I can't remember. I had the time of my life. Nobody puts Justin Baldoni in the basement. She put that man in the basement. And you mean to tell me that he's responsible for how she was coming across in interviews? Let's move on. Let's talk about the sexual allegations, okay? She said that Blake and his co-producer were inappropriate with her on set, that his co-producer, I think his last name is Heath, showed her inappropriate videos of his wife while they were on set. Now, keep in mind that there's a birthing scene in the film. Heath had done an at-home birth with his wife, and they were deciding on if they were going to do a birth scene in the hospital for the movie or, at home. He showed them a snippet of the birthing scene. In the New York Times article, and as well as in her complaint, she gives a pornographic tone, a sexual tone to that. It is a birthing video. Here's a screenshot from the video. It is a birthing video. Mind you, she gave no receipts of this, but they have the receipts. Keep in mind. She also alleged that Justin Baldoni would just be creeping into her damn trailer unannounced, uninvited, while she was breastfeeding to basically catch a glimpse of her titties. Like, that's the tone of that, right? Justin Baldoni provided this text message. Blake, I'm so sorry to hear you and the baby are sick. I know it's literally the last thing you needed right now on top of a tough week. I pray it comes together. I pray it comes and goes with mild symptoms, and more than anything, that he is okay. If you feel up to it, I'm here absolutely anytime and would love to check in. I know this week was a lot, and I'm committed to making things run smoother across the board. She says, our mistake, Molly did get the new pages at 11 p.m. last night. She didn't realize they were new, but new pages can always be sent to me as well, please. I'm just pumping in my trailer. If you want to work out our lines. He says, copy. With the crew, we'll head that way. This man prayed for you and your sick baby, okay? Justin Baldoni sent a prayer for Blake, her sick baby. All right? He apologized that she didn't have her new lines. Lo and behold, she reveals actually she did have her new lines. She just didn't realize it. Come on through. I'm just breastfeeding. You told that man to come on through. In her complaint, Plantation Barbie said that they didn't provide a full-time intimacy coordinator and was out here coordinating scenes on their own, extra sex scenes that wasn't needed. Justin Baldoni provided a screenshot. Here's a screenshot. Hey girl, just hired intimacy coordinator who I love will set you up to meet FaceTime with her next week for intro. Blake said, I feel good. I can meet her when we start. Thank you, though. Justin then sends this to somebody else on production. She says, that the producer says, that's fine if she doesn't want to meet her now. You'll just have to walk her through what you and Bleep are thinking. So from that screenshot, you can deduce, hey, he's been trying to get her with the coordinator. He's been trying to get her with her. Even down to the wardrobe. Justin Baldoni was able to provide receipts that even with the wardrobe, this lady would not show up for fittings. There's a section of Justin Baldoni's lawsuit where he addresses the wardrobe. It's titled Plantation Barbie Takes Over Wardrobe. It don't say Plantation Barbie, but I'm going to say it. It says, on or about May 15, 2023, principal photography for the film commenced in New Jersey. During pre-production, Lively began to assert control over aspects of the film beyond her role as an actor. Keep in mind, she's an actor on the film. She was able to come in and get a producer credit. I'm Blake Lively. I'm Plantation Barbie. I need a producer credit or I'm not doing the film. This is the same woman who will go on and say, oh, but I was in the interviews doing what they told me to do. Just keep that in mind. She was able to assert control over aspects of the film beyond her role as an actor and outside the scope of her contractual entitlements. While lead actors are sometimes granted approval over general look of their on-screen character, this authority typically does not include full control over wardrobe decisions. Ignoring the director's visions for her character and disregarding the weeks spent by the entire team shopping and thoughtfully crafting her wardrobe in preparation for filming, Lively would send hundreds of images to the film's costume designer during all hours of the evening, pointing them in the direction of the appearance she wanted for her character. Okay. Lively also several times refused to participate in wardrobe fittings at the production office, a mere 15 minutes from where she lives in Tribeca. Instead, she insisted that the costume department pack up the wardrobe and deliver all the wardrobe items to her. Do you know how much money that costs? Then not only did she do that, but she ended up wearing her own outfits. Then she ended up hating all the scrutiny that she got for the wardrobe of her character, but it was all her doing. Tone deaf. She didn't read the book. She did not read the book. She didn't care. She just wanted to do things her way. Those are just a couple excerpts from Justin Baldoni's lawsuit. And I'm going to tell you this. What was really strange to me when this was dropping on the internet was the immediate, hey, black women, I know, we don't like Plantation Barbie, but me too, hashtag me too. And just cause she racist, don't mean that y'all should not stand behind her. She needs our support. Blake Plantation Barbie Liley is the same woman who worked with Woody Allen and would say that he was a great source of women empowerment for her. It was a joy to work with him. You're not going to tell me that it's a joy to work with Woody Allen and then turn around and file SA charges or a SA lawsuit on Justin Baldoni. You're not going to pull the wool over my eyes. Okay? Sorry, not buying that. Not buying that. Woody Allen, Woody the Allen, who groomed his adoptive daughter to marry him. Meanwhile, he groomed his own daughter to do obscene things to him as a child. That Woody Allen? Okay. I'm going to say this, to me, Blake Plantation Barbie Liley and Justin Baldoni is a prime example of sometimes an incident takes place between two people, but those two people have two different experiences. But just because you have two different experiences, it doesn't give you the right to lie on another person, so much so that you can ruin that person's life, right? I think that these two just didn't like each other. I see why Justin wouldn't like her. I don't see why she wouldn't like Justin. Even in their text message chains, I mean, Justin is out here praying for you, your sick baby, and your sick titty. Like, what is there not to like? What is there not to like? So for me, I'm just not understanding, right? But this goes to show how folks can really present a very one-sided argument, and even down to screenshots. Screenshots can be one-sided. If I send you a screenshot, right, of my coworker saying, "I'ma beat your ass" to me, and I say, "Yo, look at what my coworker just sent me." You're going to say, "What? Did you go to HR? She's violating you," right? Let's say you know that coworker and you go talk to that coworker and you say, "Yo, Jess sent me this screenshot of you saying you going to beat her ass." And that coworker is like, "Let me see the screenshot." And then they provide you with another screenshot. And the next text message is that coworker saying LOL. And me saying, LOL, you always playing. What we finna do tonight? We going out? That's one incident, two different experiences that are being told. Prime example of that. Prime example of that. And I think that Blake Lively is a liar. Point blank period. I think she lied. She gonna have to come with some receipts that are like stronger than this. And this is a big ass lawsuit. Also, too, this speaks to just, New York Times and even People Magazine. Y'all need to do y'all research. Y'all are not TikTok. Y'all are not YouTube. Like, y'all not TikTokers and YouTubers. You guys are legacy media. Legacy media. Y'all should know better than this. It just feels like y'all be just running to tell a story before verifying that story, and it's crazy. So anyway, drop that in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on the whole Blake Plantation, Barbie Lali, and Justin Baldoni debacle. Cause child, it's a debacle. All right, y'all, let's get into Set It Off, I Suggest. Now, usually I take a Set It Off, I Suggest letter, and please send your Set It Off, I Suggest letters to jessacouplethingspod@gmail.com, and I'll read your letter. But there is this thread that I found today. And baby, I had to discuss it. I had to discuss it. Hold on. I wanted you guys' thoughts on this. I felt like this lady was writing a letter to Threads, and I was like, yeah, I did. This is good. This is good. So this threader wrote this. Today, a coworker told my husband unprovoked that she had a sex dream about him. Hold on. Today, a coworker told my husband unprovoked that she had a sex dream about him. He was so shocked that he felt awkward and didn't really know what to say. They worked together for a while, and he considered her an esteemed colleague. She's married as well. I told him that's sexual harassment, but he doesn't want to report it. He plans on just avoiding her moving forward. Do you think he should report it or just leave her be, since it's the first time she did something like that? What time is we heading down to the job? What time is we heading down to the job? Because not only is this sexual harassment, but it's also a one-way ticket for me to fly my foot first class up your ass. What time are we going down to the job? Y'all let me know what time we going down to the job. Parce que m'ta reme konnen ki bouzen sale, ki gren sale, ki malpropre. M'ta reme konnen. M'ta reme konnen ki vagabond sale. I need to know what time is we going down to the job? Your husband definitely does need to report that immediately. And I thought that this thread was so on par with what we've been talking about, which is why I included it. But I think a lot of times this doesn't just happen with women. It happens with men too. And I think especially men, I think men are just groomed to accept that type of talk from women because, hey, she's coming on to you. It's kind of like it's brownie points, right? But it's really not. That woman disrespected you, disrespected your wife, disrespected her marriage, and she is violating company code, company rules. There's nothing funny about that. And I know that we be joking. Well, I don't be joking about this, but I've seen jokes about having work wives and work husbands. No, bitch, you're not gonna have no work wife. The only wife working here is me. Ain't no work wife, ain't no work husband, ain't none of that. I'm slapping a bitch down about my husband. Especially specifically if you know he is my husband and you disrespect him like that. He gonna file his complaint and I'ma slap the dog shit out you. Point blank, period. Drop in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on that question. What would you do? What would you do if your husband or your wife came home and told you something like this? Please, I would love to know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on everything we discussed, child. This was it was a lot of things discussed in this episode, child. Lord have mercy, child, Jesus. And I still have some more to discuss, but baby, we just gonna move on. We're gonna move on. I'll see y'all next time in the next episode of Just a Couple Things. Make sure that you follow me on every platform that streams podcasts. Make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure that you're listening to me on audio, por favor. And I'll see you next time. Same time, same place. Cool. Take care of yourself and each other.
Pioneer.